Charlie Dimmock,
Boys!
the Rich Brothers, and the Garden Rescue Team have a treat in store.
Too much entertainment.
They have come to the rescue of hundreds of British gardens. Now it's time to look back and pick their favourites.
This looks really cool. Fabulous.
As they celebrate the very best.
I don't like it. Huh? I love it.
From extraordinary eco-gardens to exotic designs.
Oh my gosh, no way.
Gardens inspired by people.
Is this the garden that you dreamed of?
It is. Absolutely.
Well, I think that's a thumbs up.
And places.
It's the most beautiful garden I've ever been in.
Therapeutic spaces.
Wow.
And the most extraordinary transformations.
Whoa. It is perfect.
Yeah, come on.
Welcome to Garden Rescue.
Top of the plots. Which gardens are we looking at today then, boys?
Today we're going to be looking at family gardens. And actually, if you look back, we've done loads of family-focused spaces.
Lots of swings, slides, climbing frames, nature projects, loads.
Yeah, nice simple spaces that are safe to play.
I don't know about you, lots of memories for me as a child growing up. I mean, for you two, it must have been just yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday we were climbing trees, you know, playing in the stream, chucking stones at each other. Always playing in the garden, us.
Yeah. You'll want a playtime in a minute, won't you? You want a break.
Can we, Mum?
Do you remember that garden in Shrewsbury? The fireman Steve and his wife Roxy?
Yeah, yes.
And their garden for their children.
It was a packed garden, wasn't it? We have lots of fond memories from that.
All our rescues are something to be proud of, but our first top of the plots family garden was for Roxy and Steve, who wanted a space for their two kids and their older cousin to enjoy. Charlie's design focused on creating the ultimate magical playground with a climbing wall, raised den and swings.
Here is a little door that takes you through a tunnel that leads to this section here.
It's hard to imagine all that would be in our garden.
It will fit, honest. I did measure it.
It's a big garden, so it's a mammoth job for the team to get it stripped back. David's first job is to start the secret garden, making some mini hills and hollows for the kids to play in.
What's perfect is there's been loads of excess turf and soil already dug up from the garden. We've got it from under the patio, we've got it from under the path here. So basically, I'm shifting it from this one big lump into hopefully about 4 of the mounds, creating these really fun routes through it. But it's slow work. So come back to me in about 4 hours when I've probably got it finished.
While David's moving mountains, Harry's making a Hobbit-style door for the secret garden.
This rustic door is going to create a lovely detail within the garden. And some of the best gardens don't reveal themselves all at once. Instead, they create this bit of intrigue. And that's exactly what Charlie's done. And I think that's a lovely detail. Split the garden up, create these little hidden spaces, and therefore that intrigue is always going to be there. So I've cut all these to size now. So what you're looking at is the door itself. But Charlie wants this nice rustic appearance, you know, slightly higgledy-piggledy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scribe a nice kind of characterful line around the outside to give it that nice little bit of charm.
Using a jigsaw, he then cuts the curved top and child-height peephole in the wood.
Then I thought it'd be really nice to have a little offcut like this. I'm going to saw in half, and that's actually going to create the little handle. Perfect for small hands.
And there's another carpentry masterclass in the back garden, where Charlie is making sure the play equipment is knocked into shape.
So this bit is sort of ready to get the platform
Yeah, we're all
on.
good. Yep.
So shall I help you or hinder you with the platform?
You can, let's say help.
Right, so platform there, rail there.
Yep.
Then, you know, willow weaving maybe. I want to make this feel that they're in a basket.
Absolutely.
You know, like a crow's nest?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And then we've got the sail over the top.
Yep.
So they can hide. It's a den on stilts.
That's exactly what it is.
With the mounds built for his secret garden, David is piecing together the patchwork lawn, and he's pretty pleased with his hills and valleys.
So that's the last bit of turf going down on the mounds. And it's going to be such a fun playground for Ted and Betsy. Not only are they going to be able to run through using all the different paths, they're also going to be able to run up and roll down the mounds as well. And I think it's going to really conjure up that natural wonderland, but also going to inspire them to use this area in quite a creative way. And then they'll be down here, and they can get onto the whole climbing frame and up this climbing wall, which I'm going to get on now and build it.
To make the climbing wall, he's using decking boards.
I'm just attaching the timbers onto the frame to create the ramp. Now I've got it at the Goldilocks angle. It's not too steep, but it's also not too shallow. It's just right, because we want Ted and Betsy to feel like they're really getting something out of it. They've got to, you know, have a nice bit of exercise up onto the timber framework. But we also need to realise they're not Marines. They are just children at the end of the day. And I decided to do 2 routes as well. So we've got a tricky route and a not so tricky route. Both a little bit challenging, but it's all about increasing the dexterity of their fingers, but also their cognitive thinking. So it's a little bit of problem solving as they're wandering up, and hopefully it should be a lot of fun.
The garden is really taking shape. A pergola and raised den are built and secured, and Charlie can now accessorise it with equipment to keep the little ones busy.
We put in these carabiners in that we can attach swings to, but then also take them away and change them for maybe a Scrabble rope or a punch bag or even hanging baskets.
Were you looking at me when you said punch bag?
No,
Sure.
never. You're doing really well today. I'm going to give you an A star.
Harry's ready to hang his lovingly crafted door, making a magical entrance to the secret garden.
Here we are, it's the door done. I'm actually really happy with this little window, a little glimpse through into the garden beyond. Charlie, what do you think?
I think it is definitely, don't tell your brother, but the best bit of the garden. I think it's fab.
Behind Harry's hobbit door in the secret garden, Charlie wants to create a kid-sized tunnel from plastic water piping. Costing around 50p a metre, it's cheaper than willow, which can be used for a more natural effect.
Over.
Oh! Watch the gate. Watch the gate.
Watch the gate. Watch the gate. The garden's all about the gate.
Yeah, archways.
That one's got to be reasonably tall. No, not
Same as
that
the gate.
close. No, go back.
Into
go
the
back.
mound, yeah.
Go back
nice.
there. Yeah, there.
Harry and David are driving canes into the ground to fix the individual loops of the tunnel in place.
Look at that.
Yeah, I like it. It's even got a little bit of give as well, just in case.
So I don't want them all at that height. I mean, maybe put
Smaller or
one here
bigger?
that's a bit lower.
Lower.
So I don't want any higher than that.
The tunnel will add a splash of colour to the garden and follow the path of the valleys David's created through the sculpted mounds. Over the play areas, fabric sails are strung up to offer some shade, should the sun ever come out, and the crow's nest den is made secure. With some final touches, the team are finished. What was an unloved, bland garden has been transformed into this family-friendly, playful paradise. But what will Roxy, Steve and their children think?
Oh my,
What? It doesn't even look our garden anymore, does it? How do you fit all this in?
that is incredible.
I knew there was going to be a tunnel.
Oh, did you?
The little ones are thrilled, but will it get the all-important seal of approval from older cousin Esme?
It literally looks amazing.
The kids are going to love it, we're going to love it. It's just fantastic.
I love that adventurous garden, and getting kids into gardening at a young age is just so important. And a great way of doing that is by getting them to grow veg. Now, it can be very simple and you can make it fun for them. Now, I've got sweet corn here, and I'm going to be planting it in a block because it's wind pollinated. It's a lovely shelter position here, nice and sunny. And the best thing is actually when children pick vegetables themselves and go home and eat it. Now, this grows to about 3 metres tall, so it's going to feel really grand and oversized, almost like Jack and the Beanstalk.
Almost. This is much more literally like Jack and the Beanstalk. Here we've got some runner beans, and they're fantastic, because I feel like myself and children together have short attention spans. So to watch a vegetable grow vigorously up these canes will be fantastic. So in summer, they'll be able to pick some nice, crunchy, fresh beans.
So great job, Dave.
Thank you very much. Now, gardens can be wonderful, safe places for your children to run around and explore, but not everyone can be as fortunate. Andy and Fiona's garden in Southampton was quite dangerous for their little one.
Since Alex came into Andy and Fiona's lives, they've realised that their garden just isn't family-friendly and is too treacherous for a toddler to play in.
We've probably used it a handful of times since we moved in. So really having a safe place for him to play and burn off energy is essential.
With 1/4 of the plot dropping by almost a metre, Charlie came up with a plan that put a play area in the ditch, accessed via easy-to-negotiate steps.
This is his area down here. So we have a slide going down the slope and put play bark down there with a nice playhouse.
The first phase of Charlie's clever transformation takes some serious elbow grease from the landscaping crew.
Always start at the lowest level, which is here, and then go up. So we're going to be putting steps in up here, and we're just using sleepers. These are softwood but tannalised. You're going to get about 15, 20 years out of them quite happily. No dreaded ditch anymore. It's all nice, even steps that everybody can cope with.
Meanwhile, the Rich brothers get the fun job of building a playhouse. But being a flat pack, it isn't straightforward.
Close that. Are they both? It doesn't actually match which way. Do you want the door opening inwards, yeah, or outwards?
Huh?
Outwards. Semi-tricky.
Always have flat ground when you're doing it.
Should we just get this one in first?
Yeah.
Hold it up on it. So you need the biggest screws, mate.
4,
3.
3. Happy? Yeah, very happy.
Not exactly child's play, eh, boys?
I'm too old for this.
While the boys muck about, the grown-ups, Charlie and little Alex's dad Andy, are chewing over a plan to bring a bit of fun to a neglected corner of the garden.
Now, you'll probably remember on my design, there wasn't anything here. I thought it might be fun to put like a pedal car track running through.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah? So Alex could be on-road on the patio and then he can off-road through here. And then I'm thinking that we'll swing it round. We're going to put something here to stop him being able to go totally down there, and it will swing round and come back onto the grass.
Fantastic.
So, yeah?
Yeah, that sounds absolutely amazing.
The track will be at a slightly lower level than the surrounding plants, so David marks out its route in sand before digging the turf out.
What do you think about that so far?
Yeah, mate, lovely. It's going to be a super nice little serpentine path through,
Shouldn't it? Yeah, whip around past some miscanthus.
Yeah. Well, and then at the end, nice sharp corner
A
around.
little bit of a hairpin.
Yeah.
Challenging hairpin at the end.
It's always a good idea when marking out paths or new borders to do this,
Nice.
to make sure you're happy with the shape before committing.
Look at that.
Perfect. That's nice, isn't it? Awesome, really cool. Gives us true purpose now. It does. Even if it's raining, you can just practice the handbrake turns. Cool, right, let's get digging out, shall we?
Yes.
The Rich brothers are giving Alex's racetrack a surface of bound gravel, but need to prepare the area first.
Just digging down now to create the racetrack. And we want it to be a nice firm base so it doesn't sink in. And we don't even mind if there's a few little bumps, because that's more fun.
And there's only one way to check that they've got the width of the track just right.
It's in, because he's got little legs, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's got little feet on the end of those little legs as well. Look at that, that's good width. Nice, not too sharp. Down here, let's say. Oh. Beautiful.
With With the donkey work done, the racetrack's final touch is a layer of bound gravel. Once shovelled into place, it needs a tamp down with a vibrating plate to compact it and give it a firm surface. This finish is great for giving a more informal look, and it also is cost effective at £10 per metre squared. The team are on the home straight now, but there's still a key bit of kid-friendly kit to install, the playhouse.
About that, and then we need to level it up a bit. Come in, everybody out, back to work. We got garden finish. Slides got to go in, planning's got to be done. Yeah, I was going to know who that probably was due to.
With the final details all in place and the plants dug in, the team have finished. And what was a dangerous garden for a toddler has been transformed into a beautiful family garden, complete with its own thriller-minute mini racetrack. But will it get the thumbs up from Andy, Fiona and Alex?
OK, you can open your eyes.
Wow. Wow.
That is amazing.
Alex, look.
It's just brilliant.
Cool.
Wow, look at you.
Harry. Wowee, look at that.
Hands free.
Yay!
Well, I can see you were definitely in pole position.
Oh, you're funny, aren't you? See, now, straight lines have their place in a garden, but you can't be a winding path for that magical journey of, I wonder what's coming up next.
That's great. A lot like this garden with this beautiful path.
It's lovely, isn't it? And then you get to something like that, a feature, and you go, wow, look at that. And all you need now is a little bit of inspiration to come up with a great place for the children to play, or even a few grown-ups.
Oh, there's a couple right here.
Off you go. I'm going to play you for a bit. Right. So the idea is to create a sort of temporary den for children and adults to play. So a few bits of material are always quite handy, maybe strung up. Reminds me of that garden we did in Northampton. Very Alice in Wonderland.
As Charlie sets about making a den in her tree, our next top of the plot's family garden transformation was for Sharon. She wanted an interesting space that would fire up her goddaughter Alex's imagination.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
So the Rich Brothers' incredible design conjured up the weird and wonderful world of Alice in Wonderland.
We thought it'd be perfect to give you this area where Alex can imagine she's in a fantasy wonderland.
Perfect.
The first job for the landscapers is to clear the garden. And with that done, Harry sets about installing an enchanting checkerboard paving.
You can really change the character of a space just by kind of using the slabs in a different way. Just by introducing a bit of planting, it's really going to soften this space and it's going to be quite undefined. But the key is to leave nice loose soil in between the slabs. So it means when we come to planting, it makes it really easy.
To add a little extra magic to the garden, Andy's carved some giant toadstool sculptures with a chainsaw.
Andy, these are incredible.
They look pretty good, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, you really capture the essence of a wild mushroom. So what is it?
It's a nice piece of redwood.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's perfect piece of wood. That's the hardest bit.
Yeah. Did you go out searching for it?
And you just went to the local log pile and managed to buy some bits of wood.
Yeah.
So,
and did it have that natural shape as well?
No, it was just a straight cut-off bit of wood.
Yeah. Oh, and I love this as well, the kind of nice little tapered edge.
Yeah, cut in from the top, straight down. Leave it all one piece.
I know, because it's pretty heavy.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy, but at least it'll stay together.
Yeah, I love it. And, you know, this is pretty tricky to do, isn't it? I don't think everyone could do this.
Yeah, you need to be, trained in a chainsaw operation.
So how many have I got then?
You have got 4.
4?
Yeah.
Not sure there's going to be much room in the garden. It takes a while to grow on you, don't worry, Andy.
That's a bad joke, mate.
Whilst Charlie focuses on the planting, Harry's finishing the Alice in Wonderland checkerboard paving with a splash of green.
This turf knitted with the paving really gives this lovely soft space to play.
Because Harry's setting the turf flush with the level of the paving stones, a lawnmower can go straight over the top and get clean edges to the grass without any further trimming.
Once you've cut your turf, it's good to push it down so the roots really do connect with the soil. And then the next thing is you need to water it for at least 2 weeks so it really knits in and establishes.
Some of the checkerboard squares are going to offer another sensory experience, the gorgeous scent of fresh chamomile.
These are the chamomile plugs, and they're about 60p per plant. And we've chosen them because it's a lovely sunny spot down here, and they're the perfect ground cover. They're very simple to put in. All you've got to do is push a hole in like that, and then place them in. We're going to put about 8 in here, and in a couple of weeks, they're going to spill over, soften the slabs, and just create a lovely little feature at the bottom of the garden.
But turf and chamomile are not the only things that'll be planted in Alex's checkerboard.
I think I found the perfect spot for one of Andrew's mushrooms. I'm just going to put it in the middle of the chamomile here. So over time, that will fill out, and it'll almost look like the mushrooms coming out of the ground. Charlie, what do you think?
That looks great. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
See, I've got my own little bit of fantasy going on here. You know, Alice in Wonderland, it's a white rabbit running late down a hole. So this is the rabbit hole. Going to dress it with a few little spring bulbs. And this is really just a bit of fun. But that's a great thing about children being out in the garden, just messing around and having fun. What to write on the sign?
Charlie's putting the finishing touches to her enchanted rabbit hole.
Perfect.
And the boys are adding a special something to Harry's checkered paving, custom-made light boxes.
They're pretty much just clear plastic with a lovely wooden frame. Very simple to make, and I think they're going to make a massive difference in the garden at night time.
Awesome, especially put them down here, little Alex, you can move them around, and then when you look down out of the house in the evening, bright lights shining, really, really cool.
And I've got a yellow one.
Got a green.
With the light boxes in place, the team have cracked it. Sharon's garden was uninspiring, especially for her goddaughter Alex. It's now been transformed into this Alice in Wonderland-inspired magical space, but will it leave Sharon and Alex spellbound?
Open.
Oh my God. It's amazing. Look at this, Alex, look.
Yeah, come on over.
Let's have a look. Can you see?
What's in there?
You definitely fit in there.
And the mushrooms.
Mushrooms. Oh, wow. So you're going to sit on this one?
That's the right size.
Yeah.
Ta-da! There you go. A bit of fun, bright and colourful. Amazing what you can do with a few bits of material, somewhere to sit. But in my experience, the best things to do is to give the bits to the children themselves because they love making dens, and the other thing they love are creepy crawlies. And Arrett made a family-friendly garden in Swansea full of homes for creepy crawlies.
Our next Top of the Plots family garden was for Jessica and Peter. Their garden was in very poor shape, and the couple dreamt of a wildlife-friendly space for their 2 children, which Arrett just loved.
We're looking for a garden that overall has to be child-friendly, because currently it isn't. Also as well wildlife-friendly for the children, because it sounds like they're really into bugs and knowing what's going on in nature.
So, Arrett's incredible design included a pond, a wormery and a bug hotel. Whilst the landscapers make a start digging out the water feature...
Come on, guys, bring the digger in.
David's first job is to make a wormery.
Now, a wormery is quite simply a container in which you've got worms which break down organic matter to create a lovely, rich and fertile compost. So I've got these 2x2s, which are going to create the framework, and then I've got these 6x1s, which are going to create the facade. And I'm going to have a lovely little window in it, in which they can watch what's going on, but also a little removable lid, and that's really important as well. But I think it's going to be a lovely little item in the garden that's nice and simple, but it's going to give the children a lot of fun.
Whilst David's busy with his wormery, out front, Harry is tackling the creepy crawly hotel.
I thought it would be a lovely idea to create a high-rise mini bug hotel. Now, I'm doing that by using 2 hanging baskets. And the idea is to create a framework like this, where I'm going to put in some materials that are easily found. So I've got an off-cut piece of hessian here, which is going to go on the bottom of the basket, like that. And then really it's just about using different materials. And I've got the coir here that came with the hanging basket. And really you can use anything, and that's what's so nice. Got a lovely array here with like straws can go in. Got some pine cones, got some old bits of clay pot there, some bark. So I've got some moss here, which I think I'm going to scrumple up here to put on the outside. And I'm actually really enjoying doing this, and I think it's a great activity to do if you have children, because it's just a lovely way of getting them into the garden. I like the idea then of getting some garden soil and just really allowing that to weigh down the inside. Some bark, grass in there. So it's starting to look very cosy in here. And that's that done, so that's half of it. I hope it gets a 5-star rating.
David's now finished his worm hotel, and it's been filled with ripped up newspaper, soil and sand. All it needs now is some guests.
You almost need to look at it from this side. We've decided it's like a microwave or a TV.
Well, no, but I was thinking I'd do the worm's eye view looking out. And here they are. It's great, isn't it? The kids are going to love it.
Right.
Hello, welcome to your new home.
That's Spaghetti Junction down there, isn't it? Because these guys are brandling worms. They're not actually earthworms.
OK.
So whereas earthworms live in the soil, these guys live in the kind of the organic layer on the surface, and that's what they break it down, because they're slightly thinner
I can
and
see
a little bit more red.
What happens now? What do you do now?
Well, we've got to put on today's lunch, or what's left of it.
It was a bit tastier than that.
We were a bit slow in eating that guy, weren't we?
Nice. Right, at that...
You sure you don't fancy a bite of that?
No, you're all right. At that, I'm going to leave you to it
I'm
now.
tempted. You not?
See you later. Bye, thanks. See ya. It's looking brilliant.
It looks better from after that side.
Bye, thanks.
Nah. Right, on it goes.
As the lucky worms tuck into their tasty snacks, out front, Harry's Bug Hotel is also open for business.
Oh, there you go. That's the Mini Beast Hotel. It's not quite penthouse yet, but we're going to position it at a perfect height for the kids to observe all the creepy crawlies.
And David's wormery is also ready to take up residence.
I'm going in blind, Harry. See me in.
You're about there.
Oh, there we are.
Right, guys, look at that.
Hello.
Are you ready for your vegetable TV?
Hello. Oh, my word.
Only one channel.
Amazing.
Worm World.
Worm World. Right, well, Worm World, can we try him just to be resting under the table?
Pretty cool, that, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm loving that. OK, thank you,
Lovely,
people.
The garden is really coming together, and with some frantic final planting, the team have done it. Jessica and Peter's garden wasn't practical for their children, but it's been transformed into this stunning space for the whole family to enjoy. But what will they make of their special wildlife wonderland?
Open your eyes.
Well,
Whoa! That's insane.
Oh, my God. But there's going to be bugs that go in there. Look, if you turn it around, look, they're all going to be in here.
It's like a utopia.
What's a big word?
I know, it is, isn't it? Do you like the garden?
Yeah!
Now, children love gardens because they're a great space to run around, but they also love gardening. And if you want to encourage them, get them growing seeds. Very satisfying, and you get good results. So seeds to go for, what you want to try, are things that are big seeds and that grow quickly. So things like sunflowers, nasturtiums and sweet peas. Now the great thing about nasturtiums is the seeds are really big, so children can handle them quickly. The flowers are lovely and bright, and also you can eat the flowers. So just pop a little hole into the compost, drop a seed in, cover it over. So it's very straightforward for children to do. Give them a good water. Always a good excuse on a hot day for a water fight. Children love that. Keep your seeds well watered, and in 7 to 10 days they'll pop up. Now the one thing to remember about sweet peas, if you want to get lots and lots of flowers, once the sweet peas have grown up and you've got 2 or 3 sets of leaves, pinch out the top, because that way you'll get double the amount of stems and you'll get double the amount of lovely sweetly scented flowers. And also keep picking them, that way you'll get even more flowers all summer long.
Our next family garden transformation was for Julie, her daughter Emma and her 2 grandchildren in Nottinghamshire. The family loved the seaside and had brought an element of it into their garden.
Just evolved as we've gone along, and we've bought a lighthouse and we collect pebbles and shells wherever we go to the seaside. We just keep buying things and making the beach.
So Charlie's design took inspiration from this but made it bigger and better.
I've really elaborated on the beach theme,
including a water feature and an octopus mosaic. And once she gets her cruise ship shape,
I'm running a tight ship, so keep walking, get in that garden, get on with the gabions.
Charlie wastes no time setting the Rich brothers to work.
I would like you to make a mosaic in there of octopus tentacles, or even squid tentacles.
Ooh, I'll go for octopus. You can have squid.
Yeah?
Yeah, love
Just
that.
along the back, so if she doesn't like it, she can just put some plant pots on it.
She's going to love it, Charlie.
Yeah.
Don't be so negative.
Guess what? I know you're being artistic, but could you be artistic out of my way?
With their mosaic pattern designed, the boys get to work on building their seaside masterpiece.
First off, we've got to lay down a bed of this wet cement, and that's going to kind of act like the canvas. That's what we're going to press the cobbles into. Then we've got to choose the stone. We've got 3 different types, so we've got 3 different colours. One's a bit more shiny than the others, isn't it?
Do you think Charlie wants a sandcastle instead?
So it's just a matter of choosing it, you know, sketching down the design and then just putting them in.
So what I'm putting down now is 4 spadefuls of sharp sand to 1 cement. And that's going to really allow the cobbles to really get cemented in.
Hey! And then actually, we're against the clock, because that thing's going to dry pretty fast, so we've got to crack on.
Charlie's also carrying the seaside theme through with her planting.
So this border here, minimal planting, and I'm picking up the planting that Julie's already got. So she already had some Festuca glaucas randomly through the raised bed. So I'm just putting another one in. If you look at the plants at the seaside, you'll find most of them have a sort of blue-green colour to them. So it sort of protects them from the intense extremes of sun, salt water and wind exposure.
With her planting finished, the next job for Charlie is to bring another element of the seaside into the garden.
This is my water feature focal point, so it'll draw your eye to the corner of my water feature. Come foot cooler. It's a bit of fun, really. It's somewhere where the children can sit and dangle their feet off of if it's really, really hot, or just make some paper boats to float around on the water surface. This piece of driftwood was £40, so it wasn't cheap, but it is beautiful. I've drilled a hole just here, so the water's going to gently tumble out here, but I need to silicone it in position and just leave it for a minute or 2, well, probably about 10 minutes.
Charlie is securing one end of the hose pipe to the driftwood with silicone sealant. The other end will be attached to the pump, which is submerged in the pool.
I'm just going to squidge that in a little bit. So I'm going to leave that to just go off. So I'm using a solar-powered pump, and the great thing about solar-powered pumps is these days they're way better than they used to be. So you get a panel and you get the pump, so it means you haven't got to run electrics. We pop the panel up on the roof of the garage, and then we've got the pump right down in here, and you can see it bubbling away on this lovely sunny day.
And once the silicone is dry and the upcycled fountain, the nautical-themed water feature is up and running.
I think that's lovely.
That nice bit of detail on it.
Nice sound.
Lovely. Really pretty.
And with the rest of the garden coming together, Harry's putting the finishing touches to the octopus mosaic.
It's gone really, really well, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I think what's so nice is Charlie's using these same pebbles throughout the whole garden, so there's a sense of unity, and a sense of detail.
Yeah, and I think it's really nice introducing a bit of art into the garden,
Yeah.
you know, and hopefully it'll inspire the kids.
Julie and her daughter Emma had a rather boring garden with a gentle nod to the seaside. But now it's been turned into this family-friendly, coastal-inspired place to relax and enjoy.
Thank you. Oh, it's gorgeous, isn't it?
It's like an octopus.
Boys will be so pleased. Me shipmates, that was a fun garden to work on.
And it's amazing how many things we managed to put in the garden without it looking too crowded. It meant there was everything for the family.
Yeah, and a garden, you know, can sometimes be more than just a tranquil oasis. You know, for these sport-mad kids, kicking footballs is way better than picking flowers.
Do you remember those lovely kids, Phoebe and Jamie? They were sports mad in Northampton, weren't they?
They were. I think I've got to say that we slam dunked that garden, guys.
Shame about your basketball play.
Our final top of the plot's family garden was for Andy and Louise. Their garden left a lot to be desired, and they dreamt of a space for their two sports-mad children, Jamie and Phoebe, to enjoy.
Both the kids, Jamie and Phoebe, are both sporty. Jamie, from the age of 3, started playing a bit of tennis, started fencing, loves basketball, and I think Phoebe is just starting to follow suit.
But both kids had mobility issues, which made it difficult for them to access the garden. So the family wanted an outside space that was easy to negotiate and full of fun.
Hello.
Really excited.
The boys were triumphant with a garden design jam-packed with activity for the children.
Then this whole idea of actually moving the shed really opened up this space, and it means it's going to create this lovely little basketball court. Shall I just usher you guys through?
But the job of moving a basketball hoop filled with water is a bit of a dampener.
Charlie, you just need to lift your end up. There we are.
That's it, that's it, that's it.
Hey! The shortcut prevailed. I mean, do you want to know what's so funny about that? Is it doesn't look like I'm wet, but it went down, literally straight down into my pants. Oh! Stop complaining.
Well, that's made my day.
Slightly in my mouth and completely down my pants. So that was worth it.
That will teach him for not lifting.
I know. Oh, I just have to go lie in the sun, I think.
With the work of clearing the space well underway, the garden shed's been moved to make way for the basketball court.
All right, just moving. Well, as far down as we can, feeling comfortable. Mind your legs.
And Harry's making sure the area is level before David rolls out the underlay for the court.
Now, we did to and fro between what material we were going to use as the basketball court surface, and we didn't want to use anything that was generally used in a garden. We wanted it to stand out, and we wanted it to signify a bit of fun. So actually, we're using these multi-sport interlocking tiles. They look fantastic. Really, really cool. Nice, vibrant blue. It's brilliant. Even if they're not using it for basketball, it's perfect for the wheelchair.
These Pro Sports tiles are designed to lock into each other and hold to the matting, so they'll be super secure and safe. The tiles are non-slip and cost around £40 each.
These multi-sport tiles are going down really easily. This interlocking mechanism makes it super fast and really effective.
As the name suggests, the tiles are good for all kinds of sports and can even be used in playgrounds.
That is level, that is.
Louise and Andy's son Jamie loves archery, and the new lawn area is a perfect spot for shooting practice. So the team is making a target for him.
This old scaffoard, saw it up into length, screw it together, and then I'll go around with the jigsaw and make it into the target.
Nathan's using a thick hemp rope, and once coiled, he screws it firmly to the board.
Ideal. This is looking gorgeous. Fits nice in the garden now, I think.
A bit of fun, eh?
Now all it needs is a bullseye.
The garden's almost there, but David's central sporty feature is missing one essential element.
Now, no basketball court is quite finished until it has the markings on it. So all I'm doing now is I'm just using a centre point, piece of string, just creating 2 semicircles. One here at the end, which is the shooting zone, and the other then at the front then below the net. And I think it's just going to finish it off. It's going to look fantastic. Just like driving between the lines. I think it's turned out right.
And with that, the team is done. Andy and Louise's garden just wasn't ticking the right boxes. But now it's been transformed into a family-friendly space for everybody to enjoy.
In 3, 2, 1, open your eyes.
Oh, wow.
I am genuinely, absolutely speechless.
Yeah, good.
Oh my gosh.
Where do you want to go, Jamie? Because you've been bursting, I know.
In there.
Yeah, let's go.
I feel that we can relax in it now, because it was always we had to help them out all the time, whereas actually they can go around almost the entire garden now. It's absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Are you happy with the garden?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on. I wanted that first thing, you know.
Thank you. It's a wonderful idea. Thank you.
Oh.
Oh, amazing. I'm sure they're going to use it loads.
Yeah, definitely. It is wonderful to see, isn't it? And everyone, old, young and in between, should be out enjoying their garden.
Yeah, I think with people's busy lives, working with their kids, it's quite easy to overlook their outdoor space.
Yeah, and it shows you, you know, you can make a garden somewhere for the children to play without it being just a playground.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we hope you enjoyed a look back at some of our favourite family gardens.
And see you next time for some more Top of the Plots.
Charlie Dimmock,
Boys!
the Rich Brothers, and the Garden Rescue Team have a treat in store.
Too much entertainment.
They have come to the rescue of hundreds of British gardens. Now it's time to look back and pick their favourites.
This looks really cool.
Fabulous.
As they celebrate the very best.
I don't like it.
Huh?
I love it.
From extraordinary eco gardens to exotic designs.
Oh my gosh, no way.
Gardens inspired by people.
Is this the garden that you dreamed of?
It is.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that's a thumbs up.
And places.
It's the most beautiful garden I've ever been in.
Therapeutic spaces.
Wow.
And the most extraordinary transformations.
Whoa. It is Perfect.
Yeah, come on. I wanted that one.
Welcome to Garden Rescue.
Top of the plots.
So, H, what have we got in store today?
Today, it's all about the quirkiest gardens we've ever created. And look, already Charlie's happy.
Smiling.
Quirky and Charlie.
Love anything a bit out there, a bit off the wall. Quirky is, give me a theme. Give me something to upcycle that's a bit out there. I'm happy.
Yeah, wacky and off the wall.
Yeah.
Definitely very happy. You can see it there, can't
What are you saying about me, David?
Grin ear to ear. And who remembers Vicky and Paul from Coventry?
Oh, yeah.
Who should forget? Wow.
Pretty quirky garden, that, wasn't it?
What a challenge.
Yeah.
We're proud of all our incredible garden rescues, but our first top of the plot's quirky transformations was for Vicky and Paul. The couple fancied giving their space a festival vibe, but they also wanted to keep its quirkiest feature, a World War II air raid shelter.
Still standing.
Just about.
We want to use it, tastefully in the garden for us to, enjoy and a good, nod and wink at our past history.
It's a talking point with your friends and neighbours, isn't it? Look what I've got in my garden, an air raid shelter.
So Charlie's design focused on creating a boho chic chill-out space that also made use of the old shelter, as well as adding plenty of quirky features throughout.
So you have your wonderful Anderson shelter, OK? So I've used that, but I have jacked it up slightly because if you want to get in, it's a little bit like that. Got a little perch seat along the side of it, so it'll be very shady in this area. This is a wall, but I've made it like a mishmash of different textures, a bit of planting on it, and it'll be places where you can, like if you go to the beach and you bring back a...
Memorabilia.
Yeah, you can just plonk it on there.
First job for the landscapers is to clear the garden, whilst Lee takes a look at the star of the show.
Right, so here we are, this fantastic old Anderson shelter. I mean, what I love about this is the fact it's got the old stenciling on from when it originally issued. But the problem we've got, which I've started addressing at the minute, is where it's been in the ground before it's started to rot really badly. So what Charlie's plans are is to cut all the rot off, coach bolt 6 posts to the base of it, and then we're going to turn it 90 degrees, take it further down the garden so it makes fantastic shelter and hopefully avoids it from rotting in the future.
With a new patio going down and the team winning against the weeds, the shape of the garden is beginning to emerge, and the Rich brothers are set to give the spruced-up shelter a festival makeover.
Lee's done an awesome job at cleaning it up so far. So what he's done is actually cut the rust off the bottom and then given that a little sand so it's not sharp. Looks smarter, but actually he's made it a lot shorter. So he's hoisted it up on these legs here. And what we're going to do is position that, set it in, so it's a little bit shorter down. It's nice and sturdy, but still tall enough that you can enjoy being in here.
And it started raining, so nowhere better to be.
Should we start to enjoy it already?
Yeah.
See, aren't I kind to you boys, giving you a job in the dry? Me and Lee, our hair's going curly.
Lee's hair?
Look, see?
Lee's beard, you mean?
First of all, they mark out where the holes for its new legs need to go, and then call for reinforcements.
Right, we need some strong men, so should we get Carol, Steve, Guy? Should we just get Andy involved as well? Because
probably best.
he might feel left out.
Yeah. Guys,
come on, Backstreet Boys.
Come on, give them that
We're going backwards, basically.
Uno.
Mob-handed, they move the shelter aside so they can dig those holes.
Thanks, guys.
With the shelter shaping up, Charlie gets started on constructing a fence at the bottom of the garden to screen off the shed, beginning with some timber battens. The blue colour is actually a preservative.
Not green fingers, but blue fingers.
But it certainly helps the garden's quirky festival feel. And once the blue slatted framework for the screen is in place, Charlie and Lee can start to add oddball features to give it added texture and individuality.
You want the skull the right way up? I prefer the skull the other way up.
You want it upside down?
I do.
Trust you.
Why? Well, why is that? Because that opens the wrong way, doesn't it? Right. I like that. Woo! And then if we got something like this, I reckon, and then we can put a latch on it.
Yeah.
So, and then I think along the bottom, and then we got some off-cut of tin.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to make lots of rectangles and squares and fill them up with different things.
Meanwhile, the Rich brothers are making progress with cementing the Anderson shelter's new feet into the ground. With the cement left to set, the boys move on to playing with sticks at the bottom of the garden.
Like they're too close together, those points, aren't they? So that needs to go like that.
Charlie's challenged them to come up with some decorative artwork for the shelter that will really make the festival theme sing.
Charlie's letting us get in touch with our spiritual side, making this dream catcher.
Inside here, this is where we're going to create that lovely webbed effect of the actual dream catcher. And in Native American folklore, traditionally, that's where the good dreams would filter through, but the bad ones would be caught in the web. And then you'd be, you know, happy dreams.
Well, I need one of these. I think I've been dreaming about Charlie bossing me around the garden rescue.
That's funny. I've been having the exact same dream.
Right, well, I haven't made a dream catcher for a long, long time, so I'm hoping it's not going to be too difficult.
The dream catcher will add to the laid-back, homespun party atmosphere Charlie's hoping to recreate for a couple who are so passionate about festivals. As will Charlie's memory wall screen at the back of the garden.
All we now need, that shelf there, and a little latch on the door.
Yeah.
And that pot in there.
Yeah. Super.
And.
Yeah. And on the other arm.
Which way up do you like it, mate?
And, of course, the uniquely quirky World War II shelter.
That's great, that.
This hippie chic garden is finally complete.
Tidy.
What was an unloved, messy garden has now been transformed into a mini festival paradise. But what will Vicky and Paul make of their quirky new party space?
Vicky, Paul, your garden, I have to say, was a bit Glastonbury, but on a bad day. You can open your eyes now.
I don't want to.
You don't want to?
Oh, my days.
Oh, wow! This is so cool! Can't take it all in. It's so awesome. Thank you so much. I'm shaking. Look at that.
Oh, that's crazy.
Oh.
The boys made a lovely dream catcher for you.
A little drink star. So cool.
So exciting. We've got a proper garden.
Yeah, I'm going to start selling tickets to my very own garden festival.
Oh, lovely. That tie does suit you there, Dave.
I feel quite festival, actually.
Yeah, very nice. Well, you can really see that we made Vicky and Paul's day with that one.
Yeah, and if it's the festival vibe you're looking for, then you could always try something as simple as this rag bunting. Just some rough offcuts of old material, maybe some curtains, Harry's pants. I'm surprised he's got a lot lying around. And then it makes something really cheerful and nice and decorative in your garden. Right, if I can untangle myself, we can...
You're part of it now.
Right, find the end.
Got it.
So we're just attaching it to this tree here. And that is just going to brighten up a corner of the garden. There we are.
Oh, it looks good, that, Dave.
Beautiful. Look at that.
Well, I think that definitely has a nice festival vibe. Really fun to make and great to do with children.
Oh, I tell you what, all this shabby chic is looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, do you remember our next quirky garden with Paul and Lisa?
Oh, stopped us in our tracks.
Our next top of the plot's quirky transformation was for Paul and Lisa in Havant. Their garden was nothing more than a building site.
The last 18 months, we've had no garden to appreciate. It had concrete mixes in it. It's definitely in dire need of a rescue.
But the couple had competing visions for their outside space. She wanted to relive Greek holidays in her back garden. He wanted to put his model railway in the plot.
It's Paul's dream to have his railway in the garden, as he's been collecting it for many years now, and he just wants to be able to get that out in the garden.
Enjoy it.
But yeah, we both worked for the railway for over 30 years, so it's a big railway family.
The designers faced a Herculean task. But in the end, Charlie's Greek ruins vibe, coupled with a discreetly positioned train track, got the green light.
I want to sort of create almost a tumbled down farmhouse. And then I have popped in the train track there, through the lawn and the planting.
It's amazing.
Before Charlie can work her magic, the landscaping team arrived to get cracking on the chalk and cheese design.
This is one of Charlie's, and it's rural Greece.
All right.
Meets the railway. We've got to do these ruins here, so it's like L-shaped walls made out of block, render. On the other side of the garden is where the railway comes in. Obviously, it's not a full-size railway. Should we give it a go,
We're going to have to be Greek gods on this one, aren't we?
Well, you might be.
Well,
don't know about the rest of us, mate.
Hold that. We've got Zeus.
Central to Charlie's design is a tumble-down farmhouse made from rendered concrete walls. But before the bricks can be laid, there's some groundwork to do. With the area for the wall dug out, a semi-dry concrete mix is added and levelled. And then the bricklaying can begin. To add to the authenticity of her design, Charlie's recycling an old gate to create her ruined farmhouse windows.
The kind of thing that you'd see in old Greek buildings or Spanish buildings along the Mediterranean. What a great use. It's going to work quite nicely, mate.
With the windows in and a render of lightweight cement going on the walls, Charlie's Greek ruins are coming on a treat. And the Rich brothers have arrived to get the railway rolling.
When the train track goes in, we don't want it to move, and this is going to keep it really solid. And it also means that the gravel that's going in there isn't going to get kicked around the garden as much.
The brothers click together 15 metres of plastic gravel trays, and along with the gravel, it comes in at £90.
We have basically called on one of Paul's mates who has got his own train track. Because although David and Harry are going to put it together, we thought we better make sure we're getting it exactly right. So he's going to be our train enthusiast.
Well, there we are, gravel's all down. Looks ready. It's time to get the track in. Hello, Matt.
Hello.
The expert. Yeah.
Hopefully.
This is what we need. There we are, magic. Oh, that should be okay, shouldn't it, by the time we've moved some of that?
Blimey, that's
great.
going down fast.
Then we need a type 3. Here, guys. Here we are. This might help us out.
You're starting to sound more and more excited, you boys. Your voice level. Now you're like, oh, you started off a bit like, but now you're getting, oh.
The train track's on schedule, and Charlie's ready to add wow factor to her ruins.
Look at that. Doesn't that say Greek islands? Here we go. Oh, yeah. That is lovely. Wow. Does it say the blue skies of the Greek islands?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
I have to say, this blue is a very iconic blue of the Greek islands. And the churches and the doorways. Can you imagine one terracotta pot with a bright red geranium on it? Just says holidays, doesn't it? And if the weather's like this, they won't have to go to the Greek islands. Stay here, have a staycation.
Charlie also wants to bring the classic aromas of Greece into the garden, so she's planting a variety of aromatic herbs and other plants.
Now, when you think of the Mediterranean regions and the Greek islands, there's certain plants that spring into your brain straight away. You think of aromatic plants like lavenders and cistus, you know, like the rock roses and the sun roses. And then you also think of grapevines, scented plants and pines, and this is one of my favourite pines because pine trees, a lot of them get quite big. This is Pinus mugo, mops. It still gets reasonably big, but it gets a nice sort of gnarled shape to it and it stays fairly low. And we're going to pop it in here so it sort of will screen the railway track. But of course it's also got that aromatic smell of pine, and being in the full sun, you're really going to smell that.
The planting's nearly done, and the Garden Rescue Express is almost ready to depart.
Very excited, yeah. Right.
Charlie, I've made you a cup of tea, so I thought that can come over to you when you're painting down below.
Okay.
Oh, dream. OK, wonderful. Matt, are we ready?
You should be ready.
Woo!
Moment of truth.
Yeah! That's it, nice and steady to start with.
Oh, wow.
The tea's nearly there, Charlie.
Woo woo! It's fantastic. Thank you so much, Matt. That's made our life
not a problem.
so much easier.
Yeah, that made it a lot easier. I think that would have been stressful for us, to be honest.
And with that timely departure, the model railway come Greek island garden is done. It was nothing more than a building site, and now it's been transformed into this incredible quirky garden. But will it live up to Paul and Lisa's very different expectations?
Mum's excited. Are you excited, Zia? Yeah. Yeah? Right, open your eyes.
Oh my God! Amazing.
Unbelievable.
Wow. And the little train go.
Definite reminder of holidays in Kos. The smells are just amazing. Bring back lovely memories too. So, and long may the sun continue.
Yeah.
What a fun garden. Definitely quirky, or should I say, beautifully eccentric. Maybe not everybody's cup of tea, having a miniature railway line in the garden, but what people do love is that Mediterranean vibe. And you can get that using plants like this Pittosporum, a lovely evergreen shrub, glossy green leaves and sort of creamy white flowers that are just full of scent that is really highlighted come the evening time. Grasses with their waving seed heads and asphodels to give that spire of colour. Gets that a real evocative Mediterranean feel.
We really enjoy being given a quirky brief, but equally, we do love coming up with a few ideas that the owner hasn't necessarily thought of themselves. Can you think of what I'm on about?
One springs to mind. Gareth from Birkenhead.
Oh, nail on the head.
And with that design, we definitely thought outside the box.
Gareth from Birkenhead was a bassoonist in the Royal Liverpool Philharmonic Orchestra and the less than proud owner of an extremely challenging back garden.
The main issues around the garden is the fact that it slopes a lot downwards and also to the sides. The patio area is useful, but then I find the lawn is not used at all. It's basically dead space. A cool design area is what I'm looking for, really.
With a steep slope making half the garden unusable, the Rich brothers had to come up with a quirky way to use the space.
We want to do something really cool, really different, and extremely unique. So what we've done is we've sat down into the land, this cube, self-contained unit that's level inside, but the land works around it. It's made out of corten steel, so it's like steel that's been allowed to rust and oxidise.
Brilliant.
But before the boys' brilliant steel box could take pride of place in the garden, the landscaping team had to level the ground.
Right, sun's come out, let's dig.
Right, steel's here then. We're gonna need all hands on deck to get this off.
Weathered steel, sometimes known as corten steel, has been oxidised to create a striking and protective rust-like surface. It has extra resistance to the elements, meaning low maintenance costs, and therefore it's perfect for a long-lasting outdoor structure.
They've weathered all the outside for us.
What with? Real weather?
Yeah, real weather.
You use real weather to weather it?
Imported.
With the ground prepped and all the pieces of the steel box in, the team can finally make a start on constructing Harry and David's very cool centrepiece, which will be accessed by an opening on one side.
The garden's going really well. We've started welding the weathered steel together, so the box is actually being created. As you can see down here, they're just putting the other corner on as well. So you can really start to feel the space, you get an idea of it. It's going to feel nice and enclosed, nice and cosy. And it's just something quite different, I really like it.
And at the top of the garden, Charlie's hit on a way to introduce a bit of quirkiness of her own to the space.
So all gardens have boundaries, whether it's a hedge or a fence. And the thing about fences is they're not a thing of beauty. And you can go sort of one or two ways. You either make it disappear, which Gareth has done down there. He's painted it sort of a black colour so that you see the plants but you don't see the fence. Or you embrace it and make it pop, which is what I'm going to do here. So I'm going along the route of Mondrian, the artist, you know, the blocks of colour. And we're going to use oranges and yellows, make it really vibrant. And it sort of lends itself because it's already got these bits of timber, but I might need to put a few more in. So I'm thinking, what about there?
But it's important to choose the right colours if it's going to be a true work of art.
Got to think about this, 3 colours. 1, 2, because they can't be the same, can they?
The steel box has been constructed, and now Harry and David are pinning it down.
But what I'm doing now is I'm staking them from the bottom with a steel rod. And as you can see, the inside of these boxes are still silver, whereas the outside has been pre-rusted. So over time, this is going to rust and complement and be exactly the same as the outside.
All right, a few more pegs for you, sir.
Thank you very much.
There you go. And also that patina, that rust, is the secret behind why it's used so much in industry and in architecture. Because what it's doing is it's reacting with the oxygen in the atmosphere, and that's creating the rust. But what weathered steel has, the makeup of it, has the ability to control that rusting process. So as opposed to something like mild steel, what that does is that reacts, it rusts, but then it starts to flake and it starts to degrade down. Whereas weathered steel controls that, and you just get this kind of soft, powdery rust on the surface, and that'll continue for about 2 to 3 years. But then after that, it'll stabilise, and that means you've got this continual rust on it, continual protection. And what's so good about the weathered steel is you don't need to paint it, as opposed to normal steel, like a mild steel, you will have to paint it, and that's something you have to repeat. So you'll have to constantly repeat to protect it. So that's why weathered steel is a perfect option.
That's good, because I'm fed up with painting.
Having mapped out her abstract artwork, Charlie's now putting paint to fence.
Right, I'm going to leave those 4 for
Yeah,
you.
no problemo.
Dare I start another colour? The excitement! Another colour! I'm so enjoying this job.
The weathered steel box is ready and the boys are adding birch trees in and around it to give the area added height and interest.
That's gorgeous, because you've actually got branches going to be coming out over a little bit.
And to tie in with the industrial theme, they're using offcuts of steel as dividers down at the end of the garden.
Now, these pieces of metal are offcuts from a steel fabrication company. And what they've done is they've laser cut out these shapes, but that's left this really quite ornamental framework. And they're not rusted at the moment, but over time they will weather and they will rust the same as the weathered steel. So they'll link in nicely, and I think it'll really accentuate that industrial feeling within the garden.
Whilst Charlie adds bedding plants to match her Mondrian-inspired painting, and some bespoke furniture is installed in the steel box, finally the garden is finished. Gareth's troublesome sloping garden has been transformed into an uber-cool and decidedly quirky outside space. Time for its grand unveiling.
Open your eyes and have a look at your garden.
thing.
It's awesome. I can't believe it. It doesn't look like the same garden. It's absolutely amazing. Oh, my goodness. This is
Yeah, look at that. So what do you think about the steel box?
I love it. Thank you so much. It's absolutely incredible.
That lovely painting of the fence, I loved that, I have to say. Now, this border is beautiful, but it's very soft and delicate with sort of silvers and purples. But if you want to get a vibrant feel to your garden, you don't have to paint the whole of the fence. You can do it with planting. So here I'm using these bright blue iris to contrast with the yellow of the rose and the bright yellow of these dahlias. Now, these dahlias are sort of treated as annuals, and the great thing about using annuals in a border is next year you can totally change the planting scheme. So rather than going with yellow and blue, I could go with yellow and red, which would give a really bright, vibrant feel to the garden, a hot, sunny feel. Now, our next garden definitely is quirky, and I think you could say opposites attract.
James and Akika's garden was lacking any kind of character.
It's a new build, it's a bit bland, open landscape, really.
The couple wanted to inject a bit of quirky personality to the space by fusing their different cultures, Japan and Yorkshire. The Rich brothers design did just that, linking the two with a strong use of stone throughout the garden.
I thought that'd be really nice because it's got a nice, strong affiliation with Yorkshire. The stone walls, they're beautiful, some of the best in the world. And then with some boulders around in the middle and also a few kind of stepping stone elements.
What that will do is it'll create something that is obviously very kind of Japanese and has that lovely kind of character.
The landscaping team quickly get to work, first doing the preparation for the Yorkshire-inspired dry stone walls.
Just knock these little A-frames up. It's basically just the profile of the wall, so that's going to be width at the bottom, battering in, width at the top. That's going to be roughly my height. So it's basically just string line all the way round the other one, back to this, and then we just follow that. So we'll literally just start there, follow all the way across, get a nice straight wall, hopefully.
There are around 5,000 miles of dry stone walls across the Yorkshire Dales, made by tightly stacking different-sized stones without mortar. It's painstaking work, but they're built to last. The oldest dry stone walls in the UK can be found in Orkney, where they date back to over 3000 BC.
So the guys have made an awesome start on the stone walling, and you can already see how that's helping to define the garden. It's made it feel wider, but it's also really centralised this key space in the garden. And this is where we're going to be spending the majority of the budget. And it's really where we're going to portray that fusion between Japanese and Yorkshire. Now, Yorkshire, obviously, deeply rooted with these traditional dry stone walls. And obviously with the Japanese, it's more isolated boulders and the gravel to create that Zen feeling. So this space is really going to create that.
But also, this garden's going to come to life when we inject loads of greenery. And it's all about simple species, lots of really basic but very beautiful plants that are going to help to fuse this whole space together. So we've got a simple white, very lush green. I better rush on, otherwise these guys have finished this stone wall and I haven't done anything.
Right on.
Oh, that's a nice one, isn't it?
While the wall building continues, David and Lee are tackling another boundary.
Smells lovely.
They want to cover the black painted fence with bamboo screening to tie in with the Japanese theme. And at the bottom of the garden, Charlie's giving the bamboo that James and Akika planted a bit of a haircut.
This one is actually a clump-forming one. It's Fargesia Campbell, and it's got these lovely yellow stems. When they first come up, they're sort of that nice soft green colour. Although I'm clearing these stems, I don't want to clear them too much because I don't want to expose the wall or the trellis behind, but I do want to see the beauty of the canes themselves.
In the central area, Harry's arranging the Japanese-inspired boulders.
It's a lovely touch to the Japanese because they love kind of having isolated boulders set within gravel. And we wanted to kind of group them together because they have a nice kind of relationship with each other. So they almost feel like over time the stone wall might have fallen down and just left these lovely large slabs.
Meanwhile, David is about to try his hand at another ancient Japanese tradition, the crafting of a bonsai tree.
What I'm going to be doing is actually bonsaiing this conifer here. And then the art of bonsai is an ancient Japanese tradition. So it's basically limiting their growth by trimming the roots, manipulating and controlling the branches. I'm going to let you into a secret here.
Yeah.
I've never done this before.
Well, the best way, people go, oh, you go and do homework and read up. But the best way to learn how to do something is actually do it. So how are you going to tackle that, then?
Well, I'm thinking, take it out of his pot first.
Yep.
Get rid of soil.
Yep, tease the soil off.
And then what do I do with the roots?
Keep the fibrous roots, because they're the ones that take the moisture up. And then the other thing you want to do is probably choose 3 or 4 main stems.
Yep.
And get rid of a lot of the sort of filling bit.
Yeah, because at the moment you can't see anything that's going on there.
It's a blob, isn't it? What are you planting it up?
Tufa.
Tufa?
Look at this.
I love a bit of tufa.
Tufa is a very porous limestone that's formed as a deposit from springs or streams.
And I'm thinking how lovely it would be just to sit it in there.
See, tufa's really good for bonsais because it holds on, all those little holes hold on to moisture.
From one small bonsai tree to one big Tibetan cherry tree.
That's lovely. I've actually been waiting for this moment all day. And it has done me proud. So you can lead me to it now if you want. Yep. When choosing a tree for your garden, you should definitely really think about it because it can have such an impact. And especially if your garden is quite small, then that tree has to work really hard. Now, in this garden, we've got one tree. We've got this Prunus cerula, which is also known as the Tibetan cherry. And what's so great about it is that it really does show off in all the seasons. It's got a lovely flower in spring. It's then got gorgeous foliage during the summer, and then it has a little fruit then later on. But most importantly is its bark, because its bark really does become more beautiful in the winter. When the leaves drop off and it reveals this gorgeous kind of mahogany bark. And for James and Akika, hopefully they will not only love the bark, but also love the blossom in spring, which is something widely celebrated in Japan. So I think this is going to have a gorgeous place here and really celebrate the seasons.
With the Tibetan cherry in place and the whole team mucking in for some last-minute planting, the garden is finished. It was a boring, bland back garden that has been transformed into a quirky yet calming East meets West space. Time to show James and Akika.
Whoa! No way.
Gosh! Wow!
That is wow. I love the fact that you had the stone walls as well. It's just I can't believe this is my garden.
No.
Oh, that was great, that garden, I have to say. But then you're partial to the odd dry stone wall, aren't you, Harry?
Yeah, I do love it. And actually, the garden ended up looking quite classy, but also a little bit quirky.
Oh, a bit quirky, yeah. When it comes to oddball garden ornaments, I think there's a clear winner. Do you remember your very own Charlie Dimmock the gnome?
How could I forget? Oh, my goodness.
Still a little bit lippy on it.
I have to say, before you painted it, it looked all right. I'll never get you to do my makeup.
Now it looks great.
Now, if I remember rightly, that was Nikki in Royal Wooden Basset, yeah?
That's the one, yeah. She's made a journey all the way down to come and see you again, just to say hello. Say hello.
Yeah, all right, hello, Charlie.
It's like looking in a mirror, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, well, perhaps we'll forget about the Charlie gnome, but I have to say the garden was a triumph.
Yeah.
Our final top of the plot's quirky transformation was for Nikki, who shared her home and lifeless garden with her 4 teenage children and a band of cheeky chappies.
This is my collection of gnomes. Some of them are newer ones, so the kids have bought me some of these for Mother's Day. And these ones up here
the ones that I've inherited from grandparents and my mother. The garden at the moment is a little bit depressing. The only thing that's bright and jolly is the gnomes. They're the things that are cheerful in the garden. Nothing else is cheerful at all.
The little people were very much part of the family.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello and hello. I see we have another
my
another
friend.
judge, do we?
And despite the boys' best efforts, Charlie's gnome know-how won through.
In this bank here, I've got some little decks for your gnomes to stand.
Oh, how lovely.
With maybe a little bit of planting round, so they've got their own little garden to maintain.
Gnome home plan in the bag, the landscaping team arrived to get the job started. But not before the garden residents are safely out of harm's way.
Come on, Papa Bear.
Quite big, that one, isn't it?
He's lovely, isn't he?
Need a hand with that one.
Oh, mate, look at that. He is my favourite.
That's because it's you, isn't it?
He's amazing. My little friend.
You've got the same grin. Hey? What's going on with this? Oh, hang on, plug's come out. What do you boys unplug this?
No. I'm surprised you haven't finished yet, mate.
I would if someone didn't keep unplugging it every 5 minutes.
While the landscaping team battled to keep pace with the mischievous garden gnomes, outside, Charlie's waiting for the Rich brothers.
Hello, boys.
Hey, how goes it?
It goes well. What's the addition?
Well.
Is it a secret?
But you've got gnome idea.
All right, go on then. Let's see what you got in there.
You ready?
Yeah.
Drum roll, please.
It's a Charlie gnome.
Do you recognise it?
I sort of do, I have to say. As you seem to have this kinship with the gnomes, Harry,
Yeah.
I think you ought to be on the gnome home.
Oh, lucky you.
Lucky indeed. Charlie wastes no time putting Harry to work on her miniature masterpiece, which she's placing on the shed wall at the front of the garden.
The idea I've got is to create almost these interlinking boxes so that the gnomes can be displayed, but it's quite nice on this wall because you don't see it straight away, do you?
Yeah, see, I quite like gnomes. They've got a bit of humour to them, haven't they?
Yeah, they do.
So I'm thinking some are here, and then I'm going to just have a little display spot just up there for her. You know, so she can move them around and go, oh, OK, I want that one today over there, and that type of thing.
Yeah, it's nice to get them off the ground as well, I think, isn't it?
Keen for the gnomes to make a statement in the garden, Charlie paints the wall black so they stand out. While Harry measures out for their new home.
Charlie, do you want to have a little look where you want the gnomes to be positioned?
Yeah,
we
cool.
can't actually... Maybe, actually, it might be easier if I do that and that, and I can have one across there.
One across there.
So one across there.
Yeah. And
one
then,
down there, maybe?
Yeah, and then maybe one up there with some small ones.
Yeah.
Harry's not the only one catering for the little people. Kyle's busy repairing flowers for the gnome holiday home. As you do.
In the pitch, I did say to Nikki that I'd make a home for her gnomes, but also a little display deck, so she can take one gnome and just have it displayed. So we're going to put that just there on the mound. Just a bit of fun, make her smile. So these are the petals. And unfortunately, my piece of dowel that I've got for the stem broke. So Kyle is having to just
fix it
back together. So we'll have the flower on the top, and we're going to have 2 or 3 of them. Know what you're doing? I'll go thread me beads.
The garden's taking shape, and Harry's almost finished the gnome home.
Right, Charlie.
Ooh!
Built
Oh! That looks light.
Well, nearly all done. I've used some scaffolding boards to create the actual form of this gnome home, and it's a very easy construction. I've just pre-drilled and then screwed them all together. I've put some brackets on the back, little triangular brackets here, and that's what I'm going to fix this frame into the wall.
And now that their home's in place, all the cheery gnomes can move in, including newcomer Charlie Gnome.
What's that, Chaz? You don't want to be down here? The view's not very good. You want to be up there?
You ready, Johnny? Not what I heard.
You could hear it from back there.
Yeah, I thought so. She's just saying she feels a bit drab around all these gnomes.
Oh, I thought she wanted to be on show.
I know what you want. I've got some paints. Oh, yeah. Comes to life. I'll do the light blue top, I feel. Tell you what, it's looking pretty cool.
I can see they're up to no good. The gold highlights are particularly over the top.
I mean, that's quite realistic, I reckon.
Do you?
With some final planting and the newly glammed up Charlie put back in position, the team are finished. Nikki's garden was bland and boring and no place for a gnome. But now it's been transformed into this elegant space for the whole family to enjoy.
Do you want to open your eyes?
Oh my God. It's lovely. It's really lovely.
Is that good?
That's lovely. Oh, yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, dear, don't cry. You made me cry.
That's just amazing.
So the garden's gone down well. But what about Nikki's little friends?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's amazing.
I thought that didn't look anything like me, but apparently it does.
It's amazing. That's fabulous.
A bit of fun. Because you said the gnomes make you laugh.
Yeah, they do. They absolutely do.
Well, Charlie, I've got to say, that garden looked fantastic.
It did, and with all those gnomes, who'd have thought?
Well, it does go to show that, you know, gardens aren't just about plants, trees, patios, lawns. It's actually about getting your inner quirkiness into your garden.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we do hope you've enjoyed looking back at some of our favourite quirky gardens.
And we'll see you next time for some more Top of the Plots.
Charlie Dimmock,
Boys!
the Rich Brothers, and the Garden Rescue Team have a treat in store.
Too much entertainment.
They have come to the rescue of hundreds of British gardens. Now it's time to look back and pick their favourites.
This looks really cool.
Fabulous.
As they celebrate the very best.
I don't like it. I love it.
From extraordinary eco gardens
Thank you so much.
to exotic designs.
Oh, my gosh. No way.
Gardens inspired by people.
Is this the garden that you dreamed of?
It is. Absolutely.
Well, I think that's a thumbs up.
And places.
It's the most beautiful garden I've ever been in.
Therapeutic spaces.
Wow.
And the most extraordinary transformations.
It is perfect.
Yeah, come on. Welcome to Garden Rescue.
Top of the plots.
Right, Chaz, what are we up to today?
Therapeutic gardens. There is something about a garden. It makes you feel happy. If you're not feeling great, it can cheer you up. It can relax you. They're fantastic for that.
Yeah, very true. I think there's no better place than to unwind in your own individual area.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, gardens just bring back so many memories. As a child, family, friends, parties, even the scent of a plant. You can suddenly be back somewhere, memory.
Absolutely.
All our gardens are a labour of love, but our Top of the Plots therapeutic transformations celebrate spaces that create happiness bring a sense of calm and reminders of fond memories. Like Anita's garden in Fallowfield, which was planted by her late husband and was in need of bringing back to its former glory.
We moved here in 1969, and we moved because we wanted a big garden for the children. It didn't have a single blade of grass, it didn't have a single leaf. Everything in this garden my husband planted, and it was a beautiful garden. For my husband's sake, I want to make it lovely again.
Anita wanted the overrun patch to be transformed into a fitting tribute to her late husband.
Anita, Sarah.
And Charlie's plan for a woodland garden with hints of the Japanese design that she loved.
Wow.
Captured her heart.
I've opened up the garden down to a little patio area near to your pond. But then what I'm doing with the rest of the garden is really what I would call proper gardening to restore the shrubs back to their beauty.
The plot was so overgrown that it takes all the muscle they have for the landscaping team to get it back to its old self.
Let me have a go first, see if I can do it.
And as the space begins to take shape, Carpenter Lee gets stuck into custom-made planters with built-in seats so Anita can garden in comfort.
Perfect. Look at that clown. Got me a bit of car, hasn't he? Oh, very good, Lee. I like it. Very good. But back to work.
The garden has run so wild that Anita's husband's pride and joy, a koi carp pond, is completely lost in the undergrowth. So Charlie sets the boys to finding it.
Oh, look at that. It's huge, isn't it? It goes back so far. Right, Dave, I feel like that's where I've got to go. Right, hold on. Let me just monkey clip you there.
Don't go falling in.
Oh, that's a strong belt. Oh.
While the brothers clear the pond, Charlie brings some TLC to the overgrown shrubs and bushes.
When you have a garden like this that's sort of overgrown, you sort of panic, and the first thing you think of doing is going, let's take everything out. By doing that, you actually end up losing some really nice plants. Now, this is just a basic laurel. It's a hedging plant, really, and it's just a big mass. But what I'm going to do is actually prune it and take away the bottom areas so it ends up like a multi-stemmed shrub or small tree. I have loppers. They're really good, and these are ratcheted ones, so it makes chopping things much easier. And then a pruning saw. So I don't know whether you can see, down over the back there, there's like a branch system. So I want to sort of expose that. And it's a case of cut a bit, step back, look.
The golden rule for pruning any plant is the 3 Ds. Remove anything that's dead, damaged or diseased. If you're reshaping, remove branches that cross or which are growing back towards the centre.
Mr. Rich and Mr. Rich, sweetie pies, do you may have your able bodies down here?
No.
Yeah. So, yeah, off we go, off we jolly well go.
We're like the donkeys.
No, you're my slaves today, you are.
Charlie doesn't just want to trim the garden back to its glory days. Inspired by Anita's love of Oriental design, she wants to introduce new features that'll make it a relaxing and therapeutic space to spend time in.
Anita has really fond memories of how the garden was many years ago, and especially the koi pond with the moving water. So I thought it'd be really lovely to get some moving water up this end of the garden where she sits most of the time. Very simple, gentle noise, but to pick up that sort of Oriental theme, we're using this lovely black bamboo, and we're going to make a sort of like a rill. So the water's going to run down into this, into that, and then drop into a bowl, and then just gently overflow. So it'll just be a very soft noise. Yeah, like that. I mean, it'd be nice if there's a bit of a drop. When you're doing a water feature, test it all before you put all the pebbles and everything in position, because water doesn't always go where you expect it to go.
It's coming, it's coming.
Shall we turn the pump on then? Very exciting.
That's a nice noise.
The water feature's up and running, and Charlie's ready to add the plants.
I'm using some, what I would call really traditional oriental plants. We've got this hosta, and then we've got this anemone wild swan. The Japanese and Chinese love anemones. They say sort of spring and summer, and it's just a very simple flower. So I'm not going to put too much in these raised beds.
A dressing of pebbles and moss disguises the reservoir, and the water feature is done. The rejuvenated garden is coming together. A relaxing, therapeutic meditation space is made by the pond.
How's that look?
That looks fantastic there. Yeah, I wouldn't take it any further in.
Cool.
Because that square looks like it's in the centre of the patio.
How ideal. There we are. Roll out the turf.
A new lawn is laid. The raised beds are planted up.
These alliums are just going to stand proud, really bold, and draw your eye straight down to the bottom of the garden.
And finally, the bound gravel path is put down and the garden is complete. Before, Anita's garden was overgrown and wild, but now it has been transformed into a therapeutic space in which she can sit and be reminded of her late husband. But what will she think?
Do you want to open your eyes?
Oh, wow. What do you think, Nana? Wow. Oh, my goodness. Look at this. It's oriental like you wanted. Look.
So you said you loved the pond, but there was so much wildlife in it, we didn't want to disturb it too much. So we thought a little bit of water outside your back door.
That's beautiful.
It's so wonderful.
This garden, which holds so many happy memories for Anita, is transformed into a tranquil space that'll give her peace and solace for many years to come.
It's absolutely stunning, and my late husband would be so happy, wouldn't he, and proud.
His garden's back.
It's just a wonderful magic experience.
Now, this hedge has already had its formative pruning, unlike Nita's in Manchester. So it's already got its shape there, and this is called cloud clipping, and you can see why, because it looks like those lovely white fluffy clouds you see on a summer's day. And once you've got your hedge formed, it's then just a case of keeping it neat and tidy. So it's little light prunings, maybe twice a year with box and you're just snipping off this soft growth. So if you put your hand and push against it, you can feel where the resistance is, and it's just snipping it down like that. And what you have to remember with box especially is that you take away all those cuttings, because you want the air to circulate round the shrub. If not, you're more likely to get box blight. And you'll notice on this hedge, they've cleared the base so it lets the air circulate up through the shrub as well, definitely stopping any chance of disease. And there's something quite therapeutic about giving this hedge a light haircut. And gardens are therapeutic. And that leads us on to our next garden, which was for Michelle and Alistair and their two daughters who are autistic. And they wanted a garden that was fun for them, stimulate them mentally as well as physically.
Our next top of the plot's therapeutic garden was in Aylesbury. It was tiny and not fit for purpose.
The fencing that we've got here, it's not stable. They don't like it from going from like an uneven patio up a step into an uneven surface of grass. It can unsteady them.
The only joy for the girls was their trampoline, which had to stay. Other than that, Alistair and Michelle just wanted a safe play space.
I think I've done that.
And Charlie trumped the boys with a sensory garden that maximised on the children's must-have feature.
I've gone a bit mad here. In-ground, trampoline, bigger than that one.
Very good. That's it. Here's Johnny.
It's a difficult space to work in.
Stand it up here.
But the team waste no time in getting started.
Right, so we're in.
Right, so this is it. This is it, lads.
Compact and bijou.
Yeah, compact and bijou.
Apart from the shed, the family don't wish to keep anything in the garden. Michelle was worried about the unsafe fence, so that's one of the first things to go.
Simples. There we go. Sounds like my back, that is.
And with the main clearing done, Charlie gets to work on bringing interest to the space with a clever bit of recycling.
To get a lot more colour in, I'm going to make a bit of a collage of these paint pots. You know, all those pots you've got in the back of the shed and in the garage. How about making a bit of a collage with it? One. Many more to go. Paint not quite dry in that one. Oops.
If you don't have a shed full of empty paint cans, you can get all you need with a trip to the local recycling centre.
It's lovely.
I like it. Do it.
Get it done.
Yeah!
That's a win.
You two look like twins.
Oh, thanks a lot.
To create more sensory fun and colour, David's building the girls an outdoor noughts and crosses board.
And the beauty of this game is literally just collecting some nice pebbles. So we've got a bag of pebbles, and the ones I've picked out of that bag are the ones that are nicely rounded, and they're going to fit in the palm, be nice and textural, and be easy to play with.
Once the pebbles have been spray painted, they just need to dry for a few minutes.
So now that the pebbles have dried, I'm going to make the yellow ones into bumblebees, and I make the red ones into ladybirds. So I've just got some black paint. And it's going to be as simple as giving them a little bit of a face and then giving them stripes or dots. That looks like a bumblebee's head to me.
But Charlie is keen to get this worker bee back to work.
Look at this, all the plants in the gardens brought in all the bumblebees.
Yeah, we do need to,
Get moving. I'm in a slow
Pergola.
pace.
No slow pace, no snail pace. We want wasp pace.
OK, what?
Yeah.
Done. Yeah, good. I'm off. I'm on. Only a few more to do.
Exercise is great for mental and physical well-being, so Charlie's opted for a large sunken trampoline. The first three corners are always straightforward enough.
Yeah!
But when it comes to the last, it's putting up a bit of a fight, and an epic battle ensues between man and trampoline.
It's the wobble, isn't it? It's the wobble. Hold on, if I get hooked in.
This tricky customer cost a cool £1,000. Smaller sunken trampolines start at about £500.
You hold that. Hold that. There you are. Now.
Although installation may always be a struggle.
Well, I was probably doing quite a lot more, wasn't I, than you? Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Oh, boy. Hold it there, boys. Hold it firm. Hold it steady. Yeah!
Too much entertainment.
The girls' autism means they can have difficulty processing the sights, sounds and smells they encounter. So to help with this, Charlie introduces therapeutic plants to the garden.
So this is going to be the sensory area. So bamboos are great because when they sort of blow around in the breeze, they make a lovely rustling sound. And I'm going to pop it just about here. So it sort of screens the pots, but not too much. But it also sort of envelops this area. So I can see them up here doing a bit painting, maybe just having a natter and playing a game. So I think this will make this a really gorgeous area. And we've got some other sensory plants here. So these are lamb's ears or stackies. They feel really, really soft. And then they have the sort of little spikes of pink flowers. And they'll also sort of trail over the border and soften the edge. Then we're going to have some other grasses in here and some arabis to give a bit of colour, maybe some primroses. Little girls like primroses, even if you just pick the flowers and throw them around. So it will look lovely.
It's the home straight. Charlie has a few last tricks up her sleeve to make sure there will be far more to this garden than simply a trampoline. David and Harry are planting up fragrant thyme and wild strawberries between the colourful stepping stones. While Lee is adding a sensory screen to the pergola.
So I thought the girls would love this. It's like... And it does also screen, and it sort of picks up the granite, the silvers. Quite fun, I think.
And with that, the family's small garden is remade into a space packed with the sensory stimulation that's so important to the girls' well-being.
1, 2, 3. Open your eyes.
Whoa! Well, I think that's a thumbs up.
Well, it was fantastic to see their reaction to their new garden and great to see them getting stuck in straight away. Now we're going to look at how to create a sensory herb garden.
We're going to be using some really beautiful plants, ones that kick up a really nice aroma. And because this planting bed is positioned right outside the kitchen, that's not only functional for coming out and picking them, but actually it means that the smells are going to be wafted into the house on a warm summer breeze.
If you love your cooking, we've got rosemary, which is a must-have. We also got some lemon thyme and some chives.
Got mint, gorgeous smelling, really versatile in cooking. And actually, this smell for me, is, maybe for Harry, is very nostalgic. So it reminds me of an old apple tree in our grandparents' garden, which the mint had run wild below it. So that's really sweet. But you need to remember not to plant it close to others because it does spread. So put it in its own isolated bed or in its own pot.
While David plants up, our next therapeutic garden provided a calming reminder of Yolanda and Avinda's family.
Since Yolanda and Arvinda moved to their South London home, the family have been through a difficult time. They were expecting triplets, and about 5 months into the pregnancy, it became clear that one of the 3 babies, a little boy they later named Jay, wasn't growing as expected.
At week 27, we found out that he passed away.
That was an incredibly
and that was
traumatic
difficult,
time for us.
Very difficult.
We were terrified.
Their twins are now active 18-month-old toddlers, and Yolanda and Arvinda want their garden to be a therapeutic area for them, but also a place to remember the son they lost.
We'd love for our garden to be a space where our children can run around and play, and also it'll be a beautiful space for a memorial for their brother.
The Rich Brothers design was the one that captured the couple's heart.
We want to introduce 3 trees, which is going to pay respects to the 3 kids.
Yeah, 3 is our magic number.
Yeah.
When they arrive, the landscaping team's first job is to move the garden shed.
Push harder.
Oh.
Before making short work of clearing the overgrown space. And when the Rich Brothers join in, planting the 3 trees representing the triplets is David's first job.
We had to choose some really special trees, some really eye-catching trees for this garden to symbolise the 3 children. So we've chosen these cherries, Prunus cerula, or Tibetan cherry, and they're gorgeous. They're a small tree, so they won't grow too much larger than 6 metres. And because it's multi-stemmed as well, it has more of a natural branching out growth rather than trying to grow really tall. Its leaves have a beautiful autumn colour. There's also a single flower blossom, quite soft white pink, really delicate and understated. It's all about the bark. There's copper-coloured, satin, almost metallic-like bark. Beautiful.
A fitting reference to the children, The trees will change dramatically over the seasons and help create a therapeutic ambience perfect for reflection and contemplation.
The Tibetan cherries are the perfect tree for this garden because they like a lot of sun. When you put them in, don't overwater them because their roots don't like getting too wet. How does it look from here, Harry? Yeah, good. You not so good.
Charlie is working on the play area for the twins at the bottom of the garden.
David and Harry want me to sort of try and get the twins excited and involved in the garden. So what I thought is use some old wellies as containers. You can basically turn anything into a container as long as it holds some compost and there's a drainage hole. Now, I thought I'd plant some of the wellies up with some strawberries because children, if you want to get them involved in gardening, give them something that they can eat or looks really pretty or something that's sort of sensory. So maybe mint because of the smell. And the great thing about putting mint in a container is it stops it from runnering all around the garden. So you can see these runners already coming out of the pot. So it just contains it. So I think these will look quite cute, either hung up on the side of the shed or on a shelf. But first of all, I need to put some holes in there. So these are moisture retention crystals that you mix in with your potting compost, and it basically means it will hold on to more water in the potting compost. And if the compost does dry out, when you come to water it, it gets wet much more easily. And with any container, what you want to make sure is that you leave about 1 centimetre or 2 centimetre gap so that when you pour the water in, it doesn't fall out over the top and wash all the compost out.
Charlie's wellies will be part of a play wall for the twins. Anything from old toy cars, tea sets, and even toy bricks can be used to make kid-friendly plant pots. Tragically, before work on the garden started, Arvinder lost his mum, so the boys also include a tribute to her in their design.
Right. This family's been through some really tough times recently, and having a garden in which they can remember their loved ones is going to be really important to them. We've already got the 3 cherry trees to symbolise the 3 children, and they're going to look beautiful. But we felt it was really important to put something in the garden that gives Arvinder the chance to remember and symbolise his mother.
They've gone for a gorgeous Japanese maple and are planting it as a focal point at the back of the plot.
Yay! Good work, Dave.
Picking a memorial tree is a very personal choice, but a Japanese maple or acer like this one is a perennial favourite, as are oaks, rowans and flowering dogwoods.
We've chosen the Acer Zakazuki for a couple of reasons. First of all, it loves a sheltered spot, and at the back of the garden here, we've got this high wall which protects it from winds and direct sunlight because their leaves are really fragile. And secondly, it's got this amazing, vivid autumn colour. So, you know, a view from the kitchen back to this tree is just going to create a lovely focal feature.
The brothers are weaving flowering plants through the grasses, such as astrantias and dahlias. They'll provide colour from spring to autumn and add rhythm and unity to the new outside room. They're low maintenance as well. They'll bloom reliably every year, and all Yolanda and Arvinder need to do is chop them down every autumn. The garden really is taking shape now. The decks are in place, and Lee's been keeping himself busy. He's making an L-shaped bench that's a perfect fit for the new deck.
So Lee's built the bench out of the same western red cedar as the decking, so it really has that nice continual flow, makes it feel like a little bit bespoke, and kind of like an interior as well, so gorgeous.
Only the finishing touches remain to be completed. Thea lays the new lawn for the children's play area. Charlie tidies up around the base of the newly planted acer.
And with a final whack from the vibrating plate, this garden is done. Arvinder and Yolanda's garden was once an unkempt jungle, home to weeds and a washing line. Now it is transformed into a tranquil therapeutic oasis. From the pretty little welly planters to the elegant Japanese acer and beautiful multi-stem cherry trees that pay tribute to family members living and lost.
3, 2, 1, open your eyes.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Stunning.
And what's so nice about the position here is you are in the centre of the garden,
Yeah.
and you're nicely situated between the 3 Tibetan cherries to symbolise the 3 children.
That's lovely. One of them is Jace. The other one is Oscar and Bella. They will see them growing.
Yeah, yeah.
Jace also, but from a different place.
We've got a Japanese maple there to memorialise your mother.
Yeah, we thank you so very much because it's a very touching thing that you've done there.
Thank you so much.
It's
yeah.
an absolute pleasure. But it is a garden for the whole family.
Yeah.
They're a family that I'll never forget. They were lovely.
Wonderful, but they've definitely been through quite a lot, haven't they?
Yeah, so hopefully the garden, you know, along with those 3 special trees, can bring them some comfort.
Yeah, that's a great thing about a garden, you know. It's great for you mentally, but also if you can get out in the garden physically and get out there and do things. But you can also make a garden accessible to anyone.
Yep.
So do you remember Pauline's garden in West
yeah.
Brom?
Yeah.
That garden needed to be made accessible.
It did.
Our next therapeutic top of the plots belonged to Pauline and was an overgrown mass of weeds.
There's bushes, brambles, stinging nettles, everything out there. But at the moment, I can't do anything with it apart from look at it.
Her dream was to tame the jungle outside her back door and turn it into a space where she could grow fruit and veg without aggravating her hay fever. But more importantly, the garden needed to be accessible for her wheelchair-bound mum.
My mum lives in London, but she does come and visit on a regular basis. So obviously it would be great to be able to take her outside into the garden where it's wheelchair accessible, because normally when she does come, unfortunately, it is a bit of a struggle for me to get her into the garden.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Pauline went for the brothers' plan to take her overrun garden and turn it into an access all areas space with hay fever-friendly planting.
So we wanted to bring out this large deck that runs out onto this wheelchair-friendly gravel.
Yeah.
It's going to be a garden that's going to work for you, be a nice social space, but also work with your allergies as well.
Okay. Perfect.
The landscaping team face one of their biggest clear-up jobs ever.
Wow, look at that. That's crazy, isn't it? Like, properly out of control.
First things first, the Herculean task of removing the long grass before bossman Andy can map out the garden's wheelchair-accessible features.
Gruff and I are just digging out this area here because the deck's got to be level with the bottom of the door of the house, which means it's got to come up 250 millimetres.
One of the reasons Pauline chose the boys' design was because it allows her and her mum to get to all areas of the garden. And David gets busy preparing the way.
I'm down at the bottom of the garden, just raking out and levelling where the path is going to go. And it was really crucial to draw the path all the way from the top of the garden down into the back. Now, we've got the beautiful canopy of the damson tree here overhead, and that would have been a lovely backdrop and a full stop to the garden. But what's going to make it feel that much longer and that much more inviting is actually if we drag the path through it to create that lovely bit of mystery at what's at the bottom of the garden. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to cut out a little bit of an archway in it. It's going to make it that much more inviting and accessible. And then that draws you down into this level space back here. So it's really easy to see where the path starts and also where it ends.
Once they are marked out, the walkways are covered with a weed-suppressing membrane to stop the troublesome grass that had taken over from reappearing. The garden and decking are beginning to take shape, and Charlie stumbled across an upcycling treasure in the shed.
Look what we've just found! Da, 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 da. Hello!
Right, isn't it?
It is, but I thought we could maybe make it plummet up or reflect the light or...
Yeah.
But I'll need to protect this, won't I? Just in case it breaks. Now, I do need to think about this. Initial thought, make it into like low table with some planting round. But then it would almost look, if you got plants round overhanging, it'd almost look like a reflective pool. And it's going to reflect the clouds and the sunshine. Could look very pretty.
The gravel that will make the garden path more accessible for Pauline's mum has arrived, and Harry turns his attention to fruit trees.
Yeah, Mr. Bramley, looking gorgeous, slightly gnarled, just how an apple tree should be. So I'm going to find a nice home for him. Oh! Watch your back, Rosie, don't move.
Bramley number 2, coming through.
Meanwhile, Andy's made small planters for Charlie's upcycled mirror table, while she protects the glass with a clear film which will hold it together should it break. Now she gets stuck into adding hay fever-friendly plants.
I'm planting it up, just simple planters with woolly thyme, because that, again, has quite a low pollen count, so it's quite good for sort of allergy sufferers. Then I've also got some beautiful dianthus, again, low in pollen, high in scent, smells of cloves, absolutely yummy, and it's edible. You can eat the petals and they taste quite nice.
This should be about it, won't it?
Lovely.
3, 2. No. Gorgeous.
They look good, don't they?
Really, really nice. So it's one of the key things that Pauline wanted in the design was these raised beds, and that's to contain vegetables. She loves the idea of growing them, but in really manageable beds. We've got them 400 millimetres high. Now, that isn't too high. You don't need it any higher necessarily. But the key reason for that is that if Helen, so Pauline's mum, ever comes over, it means that she can come down here and actually get involved. So there's no excuse.
With the deck complete and the hard-bound gravel paths ready, it just takes a final flurry of planting. And from Pauline's overgrown jungle, a pristine and fully accessible garden has emerged.
3, 2, 1, open your eyes.
Oh my gosh! Wow!
It's different, isn't it?
I'm speechless for once.
Nice, we'll remember that.
It's amazing. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm gonna cry, but I'm not gonna cry.
You can if you want.
It's the hay fever.
Really loved that garden. Now, if you do struggle with some of the more physical activities in the garden, don't worry, there are loads of gadgets out on the market that are going to help you. Now, this one I've got here looks kind of like a pallet truck. You want to just slip that thing over down there, hook it on nice and tight, and then it's just a great way at moving heavier pots. It means you can just wheel them away at your leisure.
Well, that's definitely going to save your back, but this is also going to help. And this is on wheels. Pretty much just a seat on wheels, and it means that you can tend to the planting beds. You know, we all spend a lot of time tending to our plants, the fronts of borders, maybe neatening it up, or just getting in and doing a bit of weeding. So this is a great way of just moving about freely, and maybe even a nice bit of storage underneath for your secateurs. And then this here is like a grab arm, and again, you're just saving your back. It just means you don't have to always be bending over to pick things up.
And then a nice alternative to the standard trowel this guy here. This is going to help put a little less strain on your wrist when you're digging, just because of the angle of the handle. So all these gadgets are really helpful, and hopefully will allow you to go out, be free in your own garden.
Our final top of the plot's therapeutic garden was for Tony and Christine, whose lives had not been the same since they were both shot in the Tunisian terror attacks in 2015.
Tony, do you want a cup of tea?
Yes, please.
Because she's still on crutches, Christine couldn't use their lumpy, bumpy front garden.
I love gardening. I always have, and I find it really relaxing. With my injuries now, I'm not able to get out and do the work I used to do in the garden, which I miss dreadfully.
Christine's dream was an accessible garden where she could sit and tinker or watch the birds.
Chris, Tony.
Hi, Charlie.
Charlie's design won with easy-to-negotiate walkways and plenty of places to perch and potter.
We're going to have patio areas down to a seating area here.
With access being priority number 1, the team's first job is to remove the mossy lawn and lay concrete paths seeded with aggregate, making attractive walkways that are solid underfoot.
Throw it and sweep, a sweeping action.
Seating was also high on Christine and Tony's wish list, so Harry gets started on the garden's standout feature, a dry stone wall bench.
Right then, you. That's the seat bit, is it?
Yes. A nice, intimate seat.
Right, OK, and that's looking right up there.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm quite excited by this.
I'm excited by
actually.
this. It's a good project for me today.
You like dry stone walling,
I do,
don't you?
yeah.
We get space.
Any excuse to put my overalls on?
Romper suit, not overalls.
Romper suit.
Harry digs a trench where the bench will sit. It's filled with concrete and the footing can go in. The largest, chunkiest stones need to go at the bottom to give the wall strength. But to save on stone, he's also supporting it with breeze blocks.
Because the back of this wall is going to be covered by this soil, it seems a waste to actually use this gorgeous stone. So what I'm doing is I'm placing blocks on their side, and this is going to give that lovely bit of stability, but also when it's covered up, you won't even know it's there.
As Christine can't walk far, Charlie's also making simple perching seats for her.
Maybe if we could put one here, just literally plank, 2 posts, plank, 2 posts, yeah?
Easy.
At different heights. So if we have this one slightly lower and that one higher, because she could actually just bring a table and sit here and pot up on the higher one.
Yeah.
These are the legs for the first perching seat. Got a nice bit of oak.
Charlie's perching spots are coming together.
That's it. Look at that. Ideal.
And over at the bench, Harry needs David's help.
Nice. So that'll be fixed in, though. So
Screw down on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, ideal. Look at that. A lovely spot to perch. Look back at the rest of the garden.
Keen to maximise on the therapeutic benefits of wildlife, Charlie wants to make sure birds flock to the garden.
Whose window are you peeping in there? Let me have a look.
Not peeping, no. It's bird feeder.
Oh, look at that.
I'm thinking when bad weather, Chris and Tony sat inside looking at the gorgeous garden, but, you know, the birds will come along onto the... Tony has to hop on their feed.
Oh, nice bit of foreground.
Talking of birdies, and I'm not talking golf here, I'm talking bird nesting boxes.
Yep.
Do you fancy making some up for me?
Yeah,
or at least
together.
one.
You'll like that.
And-
Manage expectations, very good.
Yeah.
Very key.
And I've got a couple of teapots.
Ooh, perfect. I love a good brew. Bit of thinking time, strategise,
No,
like
no,
it.
no,
See ya.
no, it's meant to be for the robins, not you.
Oh, love it.
I think that fell on deaf ears.
Of course I know that robins love to nest in teapots. And the reason for that is that they're wide enough, nice and cosy, but also they've got a big enough opening. So it's really easy for them to get in, and that's what they like. But one of the key things about a teapot is it's designed, so obviously when you're pouring out the tea bag stays in there. So that's a key thing. So it allows water out, anything that gets in there allows it to drain, but fundamentally it keeps the nesting material in there, so they can keep it nice and cosy, and it's a nice little snug home for them to nest in. So all I've got to do is attach it.
Autumn is the best time of year to put up nest boxes. And whether you buy or go for David's DIY version, avoid brightly coloured ones as they can attract predators.
Ideal, here we go, I found them some old stems from stipper grass. Nice and warm, nice and dry, you can insulate them even in the cold, cold nights. So just rip that up, nice and soft, and then put it in. What's great about using teapots is they're really cheap, really easy to attach, but also very easy to replace the bedding. Ooh, look at that, cosy.
The old, uneven lawn prevented Christine from using her garden. But now the whole plot is being transformed into an easily accessible space. Their feathered friends are catered for. The beautiful dry stone wall bench and perching spots will allow Christine to enjoy her garden once more.
Oh my goodness. Oh, it's beautiful. I mean, everything. I just can't imagine. And it's all just blended in with the driveway and...
Bird feed the water and
I know, love.
And now she and Tony can begin to reap the full therapeutic benefit of their gorgeous garden.
This is going to change my life completely. And the last nearly 3 years, I've been cooped up in the house, recovering from operation after operation. And this has just opened up my life now. I can carry on, you know, where I left off.
They loved that garden and it meant so much to them. And after everything they've been through, they're going to really enjoy it.
Absolutely. I loved all the little bits in there, from the path surface to the perching benches. They're really going to help Christine get around the garden.
Yeah, I think it's such a privilege to be able to create these therapeutic gardens for people that you know they're going to love and cherish for a long time.
Well, we do hope you've enjoyed a look back at some of our favourite therapeutic gardens.
And we look forward to seeing you next time for some more Top of the Plots.